On this week's Saints Happy Hour, I tasked Kevin with doing a draft of high-risk, crazy picks that are dangerous. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. Yeah, we're that podcast that wins awards.
Go.
Oh my God.
He looks like Ash from the end of Alien.
Usually, Dave, I can just open my throat and it's down.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey and Bev Test's best flavored whiskey of 2025, Chilton County Peach Whiskey. I'm Ralph Marlboro, joined by Kevin. Thomas running the show back in Poland, as always. Hey, remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you find us on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything to make a comment. You could do that. Help us out. Go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Kevin, we had 5 new people sign up this week. People are pumped for the draft. Sign up. It's amazing. You help us keep doing this amazing show. So, Kevin does our mock draft, and Kevin is our draft expert. And I say this to Kevin, gets uncomfortable when I say nice things about him, when I compliment him. But it's true. He is our draft expert. He knows all these players up and down, height, weight, speed, positive, negative.
Penis size.
And size, that's right. And when he's not here, it was like we had Butteridge patron fill in for if you come with Black and Gold tier, you can be a patron co-host pinch hitter. Shameless plug. But we missed you, Kevin. Like, we need your draft expertise. And Kevin's been chomping at the bit. He says, I want to run a draft where I just can go wild. I can do trade downs. I can get a ton of people. He's been doing that in the mock draft channel where he drafted literally a whole Saints team in 2026. Everybody, 53-man roster, did it himself. So I said, Kevin, you're going to get this week and next week. Kevin gets to run wild on these mock drafts we're going to do. But the one thing I said to Kevin, I said, you can do whatever you want. But I'm going to give you like a theme or a homework assignment. And I said, Kevin,
Then you're saying here's you. This is what we call the old misdirection, the old false promise. We're gonna let Kevin run wild. We're gonna let Kevin do his thing. But I gave him a homework assignment, and I told him he had to meet these criteria and had to do it this particular way.
All right, so this week is the last one of criteria. Next week, you can run wild and do whatever you want. But I wanted to do criteria because, Kevin, you know these players inside out, and I wanted you to guide us through, like, high risk or guys with issues that, you know, they're risky. You draft them, you like them, but they're risky, you know? Like, I'll be the first to admit, I'm the biggest Jordan Tyson stan on Saints Twitter, but that dude, the best receiver in the draft. Yes, he could be that. He could also be the Marcus Davenport of wide receivers. I fully acknowledge that. So he's high risk. So that's what I wanted you to do. You can draft as many people as you want, trade down, get crazy, but try to pick a bunch of high risk people. And did you succeed? And do you feel like this draft has more or less appealing high-risk talent than other years?
More high risk. This draft has a lot of talent where you look at them and say, oh, they're the measurables in this, certain measurables are well below average, or, oh, this guy was injured either this season, like Chris Bell, for example, and I'll actually name Chris Bell because I didn't take him in this experiment, or, oh, he was injured 2 years ago and it's been a slow road back. You can look at a lot of the players in the draft and say, yeah, but.
Okay.
Like a lot of guys, and just go, yeah, but. And I realize it's very easy to do that once you get into the middle and late rounds. It's easy to say, oh, well, of course the guy is being drafted here. His hand size is abysmal, or his arms are very short, or he got hurt. He got hurt at the beginning of the season and came back for the final 2 games and was just kind of meh.
Yeah. No. Do you, you know me, I'm a traits slut. I love the traits. So I tend to, when you get late in the draft, I tend to like guys with traits, and I'll be like, I don't care about the film. Just he's big, he's giant, he can run fast. Let's see if we can work him up. Do you tend to, when you get late in these drafts, do you tend to more be a traits guy, or do you like, no, I'm more of I like production. I like to see a guy, he started 4 years and and it's production based when you're getting late in these rounds for these questionable guys.
I mean, I've always said that I am a vibes and numbers guy.
Yeah.
So if I click on something and the vibes is not easy to explain. It's like the Supreme Court talking about pornography. I know it when I see it.
That's right.
The numbers thing, that can be used for anything. It's like, oh, he played all 4 years. Well, 4 is a number. Oh, he was named the Mountain West. Shit, is the Mountain West still a conference? He was named the Mountain West. He made the Mountain West All-Pro team, or the whatever they call the All-Pro team in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, he made the Mountain West end of the year team. Oh, he was a finalist for this or that. Oh, his run block percentage as a tight end is really good. You know, give me things like that. Oh, he played, in the case of, and I'll name drop this guy because I'm not looking at him in this, Jagger Burton, the center out of Kentucky, who I'm still more high on than you are and other people. The guy has played, he's listed as a center, he's a predominant center, but he has taken significant snaps at left guard.
My worry about him, Kevin, I wouldn't say that I'm less high on him than you. My worry about him is, like, how do you feel about taking him at 130? Like, I feel like he's gonna go. Like, I feel like if the Saints don't take him in one of those late 4th round picks, I don't know if he'll be there in round 5, but we'll see. So let's get to this draft. So you started out, you did a big trade.
Yes.
So explain it to the people.
Okay. So your situation here was, people, restate it for me, please.
High risk.
High risk people that I like.
That you like.
I like, which is anathema to me. It's anathema to me to say, Kevin, I want you to take a high-risk player, find somebody you like, because I try and avoid that. So
you're a stay in the fairway guy. Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this at 8. I cannot do this at 8 because, okay, if Ruben Bain dropped down to 8, I'm going to be petrified because of the short arms. If they somehow took Jordan, let's say the meeting with Jordan Tyson goes well and they're comfortable with him and they took him at 8 for some reason.
Oh my God, that's an act of terrorism. Like, I love him, but you can't.
Well, let's say they even traded down to 10 or 11 and took Jordan Tyson then. Whatever. I would still be nervous and still say that's a high risk. So to avoid all of that, I traded out of 8. I called up the Chicago Bears. I got picks 25, 57, and 60 for pick 8.
Would you? Because that's about right on the chart. That's weak.
Come on, Kevin. You can do better than that.
What's funny is I could have.
What? Like, because we're hearing I want to talk about this because we're hearing some rumors that teams want to come up. And the thing that I've heard from my sources for the Saints is the Saints, they feel great about being at 8, and they ain't moving off of 8 unless they get a 2027 first. If they're going to move way down. But you moved way down. You got Now for the Saints, you've got 4 picks in the top 75 now, right?
Yeah.
You got one.
No, I've got 5. I have 5 picks in the top 75.
Top 75. So let's get to it. At 20, you move down with the Bears to 25.
So at 25, and I'm gonna be honest here. This one was not. This one only looks like a high. The only reason that this came off as high risk to me was the Raz. So I went with Caden McDonald, interior defenseman from Ohio State.
Yeah. Tried and true Saints philosophy. They love the Ohio State players.
Right.
You know?
I want to make sure I've got the most up-to-date one here. Okay. Let's find that. So the Raz on him, he didn't do the agility testing, the 40-yard dash. He didn't do the explosive testing. So all they have is the composite size numbers, and his height is really bad. The weight is really good. The bench is about average. So you're looking at a low Raz guy, or, well, they don't even have the number on him. You're looking at a guy with no Raz because he chose not to do any of the other tests.
Yeah, and I'll say this.
I tend to look at something like that as a bit of a, not like a full-on red flag, maybe like a yellow flag.
Yeah, guys just aren't like, guys are picking and choosing what they do at the combine, right? And different people were saying the Raz becomes less valuable because guys will know, hey, if I just do these 3 things that I'm really great at, the teams will try to fill in the other parts with the composite, the height, the basic stuff. They'll try to fill in the other measurements, and my Raz will be kind of juiced, and it's going to be harder and harder because guys have realized, it used to be you would go to the combine and you would do all these drills, right? And teams would kind of not have a way to like combine them all, and they would just say, well, Kevin is really good at the 40, but he's kind of this, and they kind of had to weight it, but they didn't have a full measure. Now with Raz, these teams have a way to measure you, so guys are like very conscious of like, I'm gonna do this, and this at the combine, but I'm not gonna do these other 2 because it's gonna hurt my Raz. So it makes the Raz harder to compile.
Yeah,
and henceforth it could become less valuable in 2 teams, which leads us to the Saints. But this guy, Kevin, you go. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so his height, he's listed as 6'2" and 1/8", which is below average. The weight is in the elite percentile. Hand size, 9 3/4. That's the 47th percentile. That's below average. And the arm length, 32 1/4. That's in the 23rd percentile, which lists him as poor. Now, the other knock, and again, I'm looking for problems. I am specifically looking for problems here. The other problem is that apparently he can get confused or caught up in double teams, which when you're running a 3-4,
could be a problem.
Chances are you're going to be looking at that. So,
yeah,
I was just looking for a knock. All that said, everything else I can find about this guy speaks very highly of him. Like, and I think he's still listed as, if he's not the highest rated interior defenseman, he's number 2.
The interior defensive line in this draft is known to be weak, and it's a problem because the Saints need one. Like they need a guy.
If they somehow traded back into the late first round and wound up with Caden McDonald, I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
If they ended up getting, let's say, I've seen him go from the 3rd round and even in spots in the 4th for some reason, but let's say they somehow wound up with Dominic Orange, Big Citrus. One, I would love it because we got a guy named Big Citrus, but Dominic Orange has the numbers and positive traits and the vibes that I would also be happy with. So I addressed a need here for the Saints. I went interior. So, Caden McDaniel.
So at 42,
McDonald. Sorry, not McDaniel.
At 42, who did you go with? Who was your second option that you passed on?
Okay. So this one I was poking around because there were a lot of corners available and there were still some tackles available. And it's like, you know, the Saints don't need a tackle, and I don't want to go digging through tackles to try and find a guy that has some risk, you know, this potential risk versus reward thing. Let me make sure I've got this guy pulled up. Okay, I do. So I went with Brandon Sissy from South Carolina.
Sissy?
Look, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. It's C-I-S-S-E.
Maybe Cease.
Maybe. Or Sice.
Size. Oh, yeah?
I heard it is pronounced CC, but we'll see.
Well, listen,
Let
however
Polish
he pronounces
dude teach
it,
you how to pronounce his name.
listen, that's what we need. Hopefully somebody will ask him, and hopefully he'll give the real answer, so we don't deal with a Travis Achan scenario for 8 or 9 years or whatever it was.
They need a corner.
So this is a corner. The Saints needed a corner. I got him a corner. His height's list is average. He's listed at 6 foot at the combine. He tested at 5'11", or tested. He was measured at 5'11 3/4. His weight is below average for the position. Hand size is poor, 8.5. Arm length 30 3/4. That's below average. But his RAS 9.24.
I like it.
So the agility, the shuttle drill was bad, but the explosion was great. Like his vertical was phenomenal. The broad jump was great. 40-yard dash, 20 yards, 10 yards. All that number comes out great. So he's a guy that is quick and explosive.
And I feel like, Kevin,
I'm fine with that as a disruptor.
I feel like corner's one of those positions where at other positions, even defensive interior or wide receiver or even offensive line, you could be hit with injuries and they could possibly patch it together and be okay. I really am petrified if they wouldn't take a corner in the first 3 picks of this draft, I'll be petrified because they were really fortunate with injuries at corner, and I feel like 1 or 2 injuries at corner could decimate this defense. So I love this pick because I just feel like last year they were really fortunate where Kool-Aid, Riley, they played Alontae Taylor, they weren't hurt. They were healthy and it helped them. And that's one of those things, man. I like because I feel like corner is one of those things on defense. You cannot, like on offense, you can kind of scheme around injuries sometimes. And on defense, you can do some stuff. But in corner, man, we saw it with DA when they had the injury apocalypse at corner, there ain't no hiding it. And it's just like, get me depth. So I like this pick a lot.
Okay. So next pick. You're gonna enjoy these next 2 picks.
Okay, so let's do
because it's gonna be confusing. So pick 57. I went with he's listed as an edge defender, but the scouting report says he can do linebacker in a 3-4.
Okay.
So I went with Derek Moore out of Michigan. So I'm adding depth to the linebacker position, which is a need, and it may be in a spot, maybe if Brandon Staley throws up something different, Derek Moore could find a way to get plugged in that as well. So there's some versatility there. Now, the thing about Derek Moore, no RAS score. He got okay in the explosion, and he was okay in the composite size. His weight, he is undersized weight-wise, allegedly.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his weight, and he is listed at 255, which is undersized. His 40 time was good.
Yeah.
His 40 time was real good, 4.65. But I want to make sure that I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He was dealing with some injuries in his junior year. And that doesn't say what, but he was dealing with injuries in his junior year. So, again, you're looking at a guy that had injuries, doesn't have a complete RAS score, has hand size is small. It's like, you know, there's enough question marks on these guys to where you can just say, do I really like all of these picks?
Yeah.
All of these picks I was making with a great deal of trepidation.
I mean, I didn't want you to, maybe I went too far. I didn't want you making trepidation. I just wanted you to pick guys that, you know, I mean, these guys you don't have too, I don't feel like there's too much trepidation. I mean, these guys, it isn't like you're picking guys that were like, that are like, oh my God, this guy's a disaster. He's rated really high. And your next guy, Dennis Sutton, like I like him a lot from Penn State, but you can get into it, and then I'll tell you why I like him.
Okay, so the next guy, this is a pure edge defender. When I realized that Derek Moore was more of a 3-4 linebacker, I said, all right, fine. Let's get an actual edge guy. And he was there, Dennis Sutton from Penn State at 60. This is a guy that this might be the one non-trepidation. I literally just went through this whole, I felt a great deal of trepidation. This might be the one guy I did not feel some trepidation over. Like, I just liked the overall vibe and numbers here with him. Let me grab. I know people complain about me typing on this thing, but brother, I've got 17 tabs open on just this window alone. I'm trying to make sure I find the right guy, or I'm trying to find the right thing. For some reason, there's no analysis here. So the pass rush grade is good. The run defense grade is good. He's had 8 sacks last season, 9 sacks the year before. If this guy drops into this zone, like if the Saints traded back and somehow had a pick in this area, I would absolutely grab him. If they grabbed him at 42, you could argue it's a reach.
I like him because everything I read about him, the questions on him are, is he going to be a good pass rusher? But everything I've read about him and the little video clips that I've watched of him, I think he's going to be a very good run defender. Right? He's like, and the Saints, to me, I know the fans focus on Cam Jordan sacks. Cam Jordan had it was fun season last year. I think his sack numbers were a little bit inflated and a little bit I won't use a negative term. He was very fortunate to get that many sacks. But the thing that's always been a constant with Cam Jordan, he's an elite run defender. I would say Cam Jordan, even at the stage of his career he is now, he's still an elite run defender. And the Saints, if they got this guy Sutton and he was just a rock solid edge that you could play on rundowns, but he plays for a decade and his highest sack total is like 4.5. That's okay, because I just feel like, Kevin, we're going back to the olden days of the NFL, where in the NFL that me and you grew up watching when we were kids in the 90s and early 2000s, if you couldn't stop the run on defense, you were screwed. And I still think that's true, and I think it's coming back even more. So if you just get me a tough physical edge, Sutton, I like it. And you've got these extra picks because you got them from Chicago. I love this pick. And I feel like the Saints, that's the number one thing I worry about on defense.
Solve your problems with aggression.
That's right.
He is said to be a very aggressive guy, like player-wise. Mm-hmm. I wanted to
on the field and outside the field.
I don't know. I am not saying anything. You cannot tie that to me. I am not making that claim whatsoever. I will not be getting this podcast sued. Thank you very much. I had to look something up because it said that his junior year was limited. So in his senior year, he had a dislocated elbow. And his junior season, he had COVID. But I'm not looking at, I'm trying to see where that might have been. I guess I'm confused here on that, but oh well. Because I'm trying to look at his game stats and it doesn't show me.
Yeah.
But again, you have COVID. It's one of those things where if you're not showing symptoms of having long COVID by now, you probably don't have it. So that's likely a wash. The dislocated elbow, I mean, his senior year looked pretty good. He had the 8 sacks, so you can kind of write that off. Again, I am looking for problems with all of these people.
Yeah. And listen, I'll say this. I just feel like the thing that made the Saints defense improve so greatly last year, the run defense was very good. And I know fans, if you look at it on the surface of it, they're like, Ralph, you're crazy. They rank this and this. But like, if you go to advanced numbers, I'm talking about EPA per rush and the advanced numbers, Saints were top 10. And I feel like if that drops teens or the 20s, then you got a big problem on defense. I like this guy because I think he helps mitigate that if Cam Jordan isn't going to be back. So I like these two picks. And Kevin, with the defensive line, listen, I know they picked up the Bresee option and he's going to be through 2027, but it's good to do a little long-term planning. I think as fans, we always think about, we got to get a guy now. Like, it's okay to be like, hey, we drafted this guy and he's going to sit. We don't need him to play this year, but next year or in 2 years, he's going to be ready to go. And you're developing. I think we need to, we need to sometimes have a little bit longer term picture. I like the fact that you went 2 guys on the defensive side that can help you there.
Okay. So the first 4 picks here are defense. And I have said in the mock draft channel, it was either the mock draft channel or the Saints Talk channel. Either way, it's on our Discord. You get access to it through our Patreon. I had said that I could see the Saints. I see it more likely that the Saints would go defense with their first 3 picks than offense. And in this particular mock draft, I did go defense the first 3. I went defense the first 4. So now I'm flipping it over to offense.
Yeah.
And I am going with wide receiver, which is a need. Elijah Surratt from Indiana.
I love it.
He is the taller of the 2.
That's
Omar
right.
Cooper is like 5'10" and a half, something like that. Elijah Surratt, 6'2" and a half. He's above average. The hand size is elite. The arm length is below average. So let me get to, do you want the extra positives or do you want the negatives?
Give me some positives.
Okay. So I gave you the height, and I gave you the hand size. Guy caught 64 balls last season for just over 800 yards, which, doesn't sound like a lot because he caught more in 2024 and 2023 yardage-wise, but he had 15 touchdown catches.
Yeah.
The 2 previous seasons, he had 8 touchdowns in each of those seasons. He has a high receiving grade. His drop rate is low. He's been consistent in his play time. This is a guy who could immediately walk on and be a number 2.
And I'll give you, before you go to the negatives, I'll give you my positives. One, you know me. We've done all these draft shows. I love the Indiana roster. I think people underrate it. I think people in years they're going to be like, of course Indiana won the national title. They had Mendoza and they had all this list of like quality NFL starters. I think he's going to be this way. Listen, Jeremiah Smith, right? The Ohio receiver for next year's draft, right? Everybody knows he's a generational prospect, right? Everybody views him that way. Would that be fair, Kevin? To say that?
I don't want to weigh in on that. I don't feel comfortable saying anything.
I will weigh in.
You do that.
Surratt, the last 2 years, has as many 20-plus yard catches as Jeremiah Smith. 32 the last 2 years. His body control, it's not quite Marcus Colston-esque, but in this draft range, I love it. He can play he can be a slot, big guy in the slot. He can play outside more than you think because he's faster than people give him credit for. I love this pick. I think he's a guy that in 2 years, everybody's going to be like, why the hell did that guy go in the 70s? NFL teams have no idea what they're doing. And that's my spiel for him. I love this. You could have picked this guy high. I don't like he's one of those people like I just like yada yada away and hand wave all away his flaws. He's one of my favorites. But give me the negatives on him.
RAS score 6.3. The speed grade, his 40 overall was good, but his 20 and 10 yard splits were poor. Shuttle cone drill was bad. The 3-cone drill was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Broad jump was on the higher end of okay, getting close to good. Vertical wasn't good. Bench press was real low. Really, his RAS is saved by his height and his weight.
Mm-hmm.
The knock on him is that he is not fast, is that he's not a speedy receiver, and his yards after catch, like he's not going to catch the ball and take off, or he's going to have trouble blowing by defenders.
Not a lot of yak.
That's the knock on him.
And the thing that concerns me is the Saints. I know, like, I feel like he's probably unlikely a pick for the Saints because the Saints, everything we hear from reporters and sources and people, the Saints want juice on offense. That's why they got Achane. They want speed. Right. They want speed. They're hunting explosive plays. And I don't know that Surratt is going to give you explosive play. I feel like Surratt is just going to be a dependable.
He's a chain mover.
Yeah, he's a chain mover. He's going to be like wide receiver 3 or a great receiver 3 or like a pretty good 2 and just like really just a really dependable 10-year NFL guy. And I just don't know that that the Saints are really looking for that at receiver. I think the Saints are going to be more, they're going to take more risks at wide receiver. They're going to say, hey, this guy, injuries, inconsistencies, whatever, but he can give us explosive plays more like Surratt, Bernard from Alabama, where they're just safe and you're going to plug them in. They're going to play great. They're probably going to be pretty good as rookies, but they're never going to be elite. They're kind of not that he was an offensive receiver, but like Roman Harper, right? The Saints just plugged him in and he was just kind of Roman Harper for a decade. And he was like really good as a rookie. And he was the same kind of guy. Like he was just a really solid safety. And I think that's what Surratt's going to be. He's just going to be a solid receiver. But I love this pick. I hope the Saints do it. Kevin, I know you don't seem too excited about the draft. I love this draft. Like it's a bunch of guys. Like get me 5 guys in the top 75. You filled a bunch of needs.
If three of these guys became starters,
mm-hmm.
then you would say this was a successful draft. It's just aside from Caden McDonald, I'm looking at it like, again, trepidation. There's, and then maybe with the exception of Danny Dennis Sutton, I'm looking at it like, is this the guy I really want with this pick? Where is my home run draft pick, or where is my triple? Where is that? I don't see that in here.
Before we get to the rest of your picks, if I said to you, Kevin, of these 5 picks, one of them you can pick whichever ones you want. You can pick one of these guys will be an average starter. One of these guys will be a quality backup. And one of them, when he gets his extension from the Saints, he will be top 10 paid at his position. Which would you pick for those 3?
I think the top 10 paid at his position, I would probably take the corner.
Okay.
From South Carolina. Quality backup, I would say Derek Moore.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other option? Just a solid starter? Surratt.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. It's a good draft. And the thing is, you went from 3 top 100 picks to 5. So I went from 3 top 75 picks to 5 top 75 picks. So even if you bat, it's not an even number, but even if you bat, like you said, 50% and you get 2 starters and a backup, because you've increased the picks, you feel really good about it. And next week for your draft, it'll be, you get to run free. You get to do whatever you want. We can be here for 4 hours. Thomas, make sure to take a nap and rest up. If you want to draft 30 guys, you can do that. What's the rest of your draft? What's the rest of this draft look like?
All right. So let's look at the rest of it. So now this is where all of the nervous energy comes in. So at 132, I took Emmett Johnson, the running back out of Nebraska. He was rated higher up until the combine, and then basically fell off a cliff. Him and Mike Washington, I should say, from Arkansas, basically flipped spots. Johnson has below average height, poor weight, hand size is above average, his arm length is bad. His bench press was poor, only got 16 reps in, which is bad for a running back. The cone drill was poor. The shuttle drill was below average. The 40-yard dash, the broad jump, and the vertical, all are average. So that contributes to a 5.56 RAS.
That's gross.
For Emmett Johnson.
No, it's not.
Now, the benefit here is that he could catch a lot of passes. He is a catching running back. So, a running, if Achane is going to be the bruiser in the backfield, it wouldn't hurt to have a running back that can catch passes and take the occasional snap from behind the quarterback and potentially bounce through defenders. Like, that is something that they talk about. Like, scouting reports are funny. They'll talk about, like, Emmett Johnson weighs like 200 pounds. They'll talk about how one of the good things is that he can ping pong or pinball or whatever off defenders. He can make himself small to fit in between defenders. But then they'll talk about, well, his durability because he's a smaller guy and he weighs 200. They managed to sell you both on, the fact that he's 200 pounds and he's like 5'10" and whatever, is good. But the fact that he's 5'10" and whatever and only 200 pounds, man, that's a bad thing. These guys are tremendous car salesmen. They are tremendous car salesmen. They could put you in a Pontiac Aztek today.
Yeah.
So that's Emmett Johnson. The next pick I made was the tight end Jack Andrews from Texas. I'm going to try and rattle through these quick. His height is really good. The 40-yard dash, the vertical were good. The weight is poor. Arm length is poor. Hand size 9 5/8. That's below average for a tight end. He didn't do the bench, the shuttle, or the 3-cone drill. His RAS 8.87.
That's decent.
The problem is the hands, the arms, and the span and the wingspan. Those are all bad.
And that feels like a guy. The Saints feel like they need a tight end who can play in line. I'm looking at his stats now. He played in line with the hand in the dirt 65% of the time. But the things you all mentioned just now, the physical limitation, that makes me worried. Like arm length, hand size, weight. Like the Saints need a tight end that can block some people. And I was worried.
And at the pro, listen, he was a walk-on, but at the pro level, it's I could see this guy getting taken, and look, there's enough good things. There's enough good things that you could give yourself some optimism. At the same time, again, me being tentative and leaning a little pessimistic, this guy could just go in and get blown up by pro defenses.
Yeah,
all day. Like there's that potential, and it's terrifying because especially if you took this guy in the 4th round, like you're like, Jesus, we took a guy in the 4th round we hoped could have been a successor at the tight end position.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a bust. Like unless this guy turned it around in year 2, like he's getting blown up by defenses, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Okay. Pick 150, I went with Jeremiah Wright. He is a guard. He is more specifically a right guard. So that means the Get Cesar Ruiz Out of My Face campaign could progress.
I love it.
What is I've got them all here up in a tab. There's no overall RAS score for him. His weight and his height are both listed as elite. His hand size and arm length are average. He had a torn ACL, and he's made different position switches. Like he was originally picked to be a defensive lineman, and then I think he had the torn ACL, and then when he was coming back from that, he got plugged into being a guard, and somehow it took. But still, you're looking at a defensive player who's already got the high weight, who has to be functioning on coming off of a torn ACL. They don't say the ACL went exactly the year of the ACL, but still, you see torn ACL, and you're just like, that's enough to raise some eyebrows.
It's a while ago.
But at 150,
that's right.
It's you can take a risk.
Here's my thing with him too, is I've read a couple reports on him because the Saints are kind of interested in him. I think he visited the Saints. Here's the thing that I really liked about him. 2 different reports. Started every game the last 2 years and it fights through the nagging injuries, and the staff at Florida apparently loved him. Like he's just a super hard worker. And to me, I said it on our Discord chat, which if you're a patron, you should join us every Thursday. And if you're not, it's a great thing. Our Discord chat is way better than Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you want to talk Saints. But the thing that I said, Kevin, is I've come to believe over the last couple of years that on defense and offensive line, on defense in general, but on offensive line especially, you got to have a dude that loves football because the game is so ridiculously violent, right? That if you have a guy that's just like, I'm good at football, this is what I do, I can make a bunch of money, but I don't really love it. Like, if that guy plays defense or he plays offensive line, I would bet strongly he ain't going to be great because you're doing 60 to 70 car crashes a week, right? You got to love it. And everything I read about this guy, he loves it. So I like this pick, and of course we have to initiate Operation Get Cesar Ruiz off my television set, and this is the opening move to that. So I fully approve of this pick.
Okay, so the next pick was safety. I know safety is not really a big need, but I'm looking at these last two as sort of special teamers. Safety Jalen Stroman out of Notre Dame at 172, and Jack Kelly, the linebacker from BYU, at 190. Stroman, hang on, I got that pulled up here. Stroman, no Raz, but bad traits or numbers like shuttle drill, very poor. 3-cone drill, very poor. 40-yard dash, very poor. Hand size, poor. Average height, average arm length, vertical and broad, all average. Below average bench press. Where's the thing that I liked? He has good anticipation, and he is an attacker. Like, he loves to attack. The knock on that is that he tries to look for the big home run hit on an offensive player when he should be worrying about tackling people.
Yeah. And
so, yeah.
Also, like, I don't like this one at all. I like to me, like, I gotta have a dude that's got, like, you gotta tell me that either this dude is an elite, he's got elite something trait, speed, power, whatever, or he's just been super productive. And I just don't like, I don't see it. Like, this is a guy I think, nah, I can't give you this one in round. This is no. So Jake Kelly, he sounds like a private detective, so I like that already, the name.
Well, so he went, no, it's Jack Kelly.
Jack Kelly.
So Jack Kelly, BYU. So you've got the Mormon connection there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look at that, the height is above average. 40-yard dash, vertical jump, shuttle, and broad jump are either above or all above average. The broad jump is elite. The hand size and the arm length are poor. So runs the risk of potentially getting manhandled. The other knock is, hang on, I want to make sure I got that. His eyes, the thing I'm reading, the things I'm reading here, his eyes drift. So it means he can get caught by paying attention to something else, or get distracted, or get confused. So, you know, again, this is a 6th round pick. They said his Senior Bowl was good, so that might be why he still shows up this high instead of being a potential UDFA. So I look at it like, give me a hungry guy with some physical attributes that are above average.
Yeah, this guy.
Well, I tell you what, hang on. Before I might turn that frown upside down, Ralph. His RAS, 9.72.
Okay, well, I was going to say something really mean about him, but now that he's got a RAS that high, I can't, but I'm going to say it anyway. He gave me, when you were reading all this off and I was looking at his profile, he was giving me strong Vinny Cincinnati vibes. An oldie but a goodie Saints pick. Yeah. Like team captain, try hard guy, Vinny Cincinnati. But you said his RAS was that high, so he might be all right. And listen, like, the Saints have a need for much better special teams.
There you go.
So there are pathways for guys to make this team, like Kelly, Stroman, to play on special teams, because Saints special teams last year were horrific. They didn't fire the coach. They brought in a new punter. They said they're emphasizing it. So we'll see. These are the kind of guys, like, if they could play on special teams, they can stick. I gotta say, Kevin, first 100 picks of this draft, amazing. I love them all.
Right.
The second half, I feel like you're John Gruden with the Raiders. You were just checked out. It's maybe sleeping a little, surfing the web. You're letting other people run the draft for you. I like the second half. I can't endorse it.
This mock draft is kind of how I like my women. Top heavy.
Top heavy. I love it. So thanks again. Incredible work by you, Kevin. Just the fact that you know all these players up and down. And people are going to see this, Kevin, and we are when they see this, we'll be less than 2 weeks away from the draft. Guys, I can't say it enough. Please support us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Sign up. Become a patron. Try us out. It's super easy. You get a ton of content. We're doing 4 or 5 podcasts a week, plus access to our Discord. You should do it. Thanks to Kevin, draft expert. Incredible stuff, except for the back half of the draft. And Thomas running the show back in Poland. And thanks to you guys for watching or listening. And until next time, the bar is closed.